Hey YouTube, thank you for joining me again. Welcome back to another deck tech. This time we are doing Sultai Control. And the reason why it's Sultai Control is because it's a good matchup against the other control decks because of the counter spells, and it's good against aggro because of all the removals. And so that's why I decided to run this because it seems to be very well positioned right now in the current meta. Um, Obviously the meta changes, week by week by week. Last week it was a bunch of control decks. This week it seems like there's a lot of aggro decks, but this seems to fit pretty well in the meta against both decks. Obviously against like super hard control, this deck could be a little tough just because there's so much removal, shadows, verdicts, soul shatters, extinctions. What is it? Eliminates Heartless Axe. So it could be a little bit tough against like super hard control, like Ugin control or something like that. But outside of that, it should be fine because you have 3 strokes, 4 Jwardies, 4 negates. You have a lot of counter spells. So you have some hand disruption, you have that. But yeah, so soul type control. But so I'm gonna break down the deck, but before I get to that, thank you everybody for watching. Our subscribers are going up a lot more, and I appreciate everybody who's subscribing so far. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. It shows me that my channel is growing. It shows that you guys are enjoying the videos, the decks, and what I'm playing and whatnot, and how I play it, and the advice I give on what I do and how I do it. So if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it greatly. And let's get into the deck tech. So this is a Sultai Yorion deck, and the reason why it's Sultai, I mean, it's technically 4 colors because of Valky, but it's Sultai. Because there's mountains here, so but it's Sultai. So Sultai obviously got the addition of Binding Gods, and so that's why we're in here. And prior to Binding Gods coming out, the blue-black control deck was a very strong deck anyways. Now you have addition of Binding Gods, and you have like Como, Elder is great. Run Afoul is very good against those Izzet decks, and so that's why it's Sultai. But so let's go into it. So I run 1 Kling just because against rogues. Kling and Pelucanos are just there against the rogue decks. Otherwise, they're not really doing much. Kling against like other aggro decks or something like that, it can also gain you 3 life. So it's a 1 mana gain 3 life, draw you a card, you're running Fable Passages. So if you crack Fable Passage, you could Kling it, draw a card. So we have one of those. We have 3 Disdainful Strokes just because like it's a 2 mana card that could counter very strong cards like Henge, Embercleave. It could Shark Typhoons, ECDs, Binding of the Gods, Yorion, and it's a 2 mana effect that can do that. So there's 3 of those in there. 4 Jwardies because it can counter early plays and it's a land worst case scenario, so it's a very good card. Even in the last format before Kaldheim dropped, this was played in a 4 of in blue-black control decks anyways. 4 negates, just as because Sultai Ultimatum was a very popular deck. It's probably still going to stay a popular deck for a while, but this is mainly there for the Sultai Ultimatum decks. Against aggro decks, red decks, Boros decks, whatever you want to do it, you would shave obviously some of these after sideboards. Omen, we're playing a Yorion deck. Omen's a great card. It helps us scry, helps us draw. We then blink it later in the game. And then our removal is 4 Heartless Axe, 3 eliminates. Just because, like I said, there are a lot of aggro decks, and I have 7 spots for this. You could cut one and make it 3/3 if you want, or 4/2. But I'm trying it as if 7 costs, So we'll see how that works. Four Valkyries. This card's great. Even on the front side, you get to see their hand, take a creature, possibly become the creature, and then obviously the Planeswalker side is a very amazing card because automatically when you cast a Planeswalker side, you get the emblem, and then even if they kill it, you at least get the effect once, so you could play those cards. 4 Maze Tomes goes into pretty much in like every control deck. It's a draw engine. 2 Elspeth's Nightmare. This is there against control decks, against rogue decks. Against the aggro decks, it's not so great, so it tends to possibly be cut against the aggro decks. 2 Soul Shatters. So the Soul Shatters here are against the, what is it? The Goldspan Dragon, since it doesn't target, so they don't get to create the artifact. And it's against this guy, the Como guy. Since this guy he can't be countered for 1. And then on top of that, he could protect himself from being destroyed by sacking the serpent. So it goes around both the the dragon goldspan and that, because it makes them sack their highest cost card. So we have two of those, and there you can also hit planeswalkers if it comes down to that. But the main reason is against goldspan and Como. We have two extinctions for turn 4 board wipes, but we also have two shadows verdicts for turn 5 board wipes. So instead of, so the last version, the blue black version that I was running, I believe it was 3 main deck or 4 in the main deck. But this time I want to try it as 2 and 2 to see how it works, because against the aggro decks, shadows verdict's better, but against like the mid-range decks, the extinction could be better. So that's why. 4 Binding Gods, great card, destroys any permanent, takes care of. So the problem Blue Black had prior to this, which is why I went to Sultai, is that Blue Black didn't have a really good answer against a Henge or an Ember Cleave that resolved. So this is a great way to deal with any non-land permanent now. And then we can blink it with Yorion, do it again. The second effect grabs us a land, thins our deck. The third effect absolutely does not matter in this matchup. It is literally for the first 2 effects, mainly for the first. But the first 2 effects is what we want from this card, and that's why we're running 4 of them. 1 Polukranos, like I said, it's against, aggro decks, against rogue decks because of the escape mechanic. 2 Shadows Verdict is removal. Alright, and 4 Shark Typhoons is very good against rogue decks, it's good against control, not so good against aggro, but it's good against rogue and control, and those were 2 of the popular decks, the most 2 played decks last week, and we'll see how it works this week, But last week it was what you're going to play against a lot of was rogue and like Sultai Ultimatum control. The lands are pretty basics, 1 mountain for Valky, Fable Passage, crack that. I'm still running Crawling Barrens here. I might move this up to 2, but since it's a 3 color deck, I want to see if 1 gets in the way. If 1 doesn't get in the way, I'll move it up to 2. And if 2 doesn't get in the way, I might move it up to 3. But Crawling Barrens is a great way to win in a sense, because they have to have instant speed removal to kill it. And then if they're tapped out, you could just do it. Like, also there's turns where you're not using your mana, you could put your mana into Crawling Barrens. Sideboard's pretty simplistic, I guess. The rest against control decks. This is against the, Goldspan Dragon, because it's a 1 mana instant speed to kill Goldspan Dragon. Glimpse is there against control and rogue decks. Mystical Disputes, the same thing, control and rogue decks. Soul Shatters against Goldspan and Como decks. Extinctions, another Extinction and Shadow's Verdict to make it 3-3 if we play against aggro decks. Elder is against aggro decks, and then Como is against control decks. So, but this is the deck. Let's see how we're going to do with this deck, and let's go and play the ladder. Let's see how we do. All right. Let's get some Sultai control up in this game. Let's see how this works. Master Pen, huh? Okay. Playing against Master Pen. Got removal, got lands, gonna keep. I have 3 mana. I have Nightmare, Soul Shatter, Duality, Negate, and then if I draw the 4th land, it's gonna be Binding. The only difference here is, do I want to play Duality as my land, or do I want to hold it? I'd rather just use it, because what if I don't draw my land? So I'd rather get to 3 mana first. So we're playing against red, it looks like. Alright, well that was a good draw. We need this on black, so that we have access to Heartless Act and Nightmare. Right off the bat, red deck, huh? That's good. Let's see how this deck fares up against red. I'm just going to take the damage because I have Nightmare. So I'm going to Nightmare this. I could have Heartless Act that at end step, but I'd rather just use this to kill it and then hold Heartless Act for another turn, because Nightmare could become useless later into the game, whereas Heartless Act would just be good regardless. So alright, so whoa, what is this? This is a different red deck. Choose Harmon, target human or artifact and gain control it. Interesting. Target human or artifact upon it controls. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm just going to Soul Shatter here. Obviously, if I were drew a land, it would have been better, because then I could Binding it without taking damage. And then I have Heartless Act to deal with this dragon. So I don't think I want to Valky it because then I'm gonna take a lot of damage. And even if I transform to it, it becomes a 4/4 to his Bone Crusher's 4/4. I have to pass. I mean, if I drew a land, it would have been better because I could play Binding Gods without taking damage. So, like, the problem I have here is I don't want to use Heartless Act on the dragon because I want to save Heartless Act for the Faceless Haven. Okay, dragon. All right, perfect. There we go. We drew the land. Now we could save Heartless Act for Faceless Haven. And then obviously this will grab me another land on the second chapter. It'll grab me another land. So Robber the Rich, okay. Hit my stroke. That's a good one against us. That's a good one to hit. Drew another Distinguished Stroke off the top. Alright, I think I need to grab the red one because I have Valky. And then, yep, we just use... If I had another untapped land, I could have returned the Yorion and hold up Heartless Act, but Champion's fine. He currently can't... Oh, okay, now... Nope, that doesn't work. Because it tapped your... That doesn't work. I guess we're just Heartless acting... He tapped... So, unfortunately for my opponent, he used the auto tapper and it tapped his Snowland versus his basic, or instead of the castles. So that's what happened. So he was supposed to manually tap the the castle instead, but and that's what happened. So that's unfortunate for my opponent, but sometimes that happens, I guess. All right, let's Binding Gods here. Let's take the Robber because the champion only does 1 damage to us currently. Obviously, these castles are going to be a little annoying because they can start stacking more and more damage, but at the moment, this is what we have. What is this? Abilities you activate cost 1 less activate each dragon you control. Interesting. And then he could boost and create a 5/5 dragon. Okay. I guess then we have to get rid of that. So, extinction. Boost abilities you activate cost 1 less. So it's a 4 mana effect. So I call even. I get rid of that because otherwise he creates a 5/5 dragon. And then put this on black. And next turn we can cast the Valky as the creature or the planeswalker. And I mean we're gonna take 3 damage here because the champion, I believe, or no, never mind. Castle costs 3 in itself, so we're taking 2. Never mind. He needs 1 more land to do it. Costs 3 in itself. Okay. So we can use Valky to exile the champion here. So that way we take less damage. I believe he has Frostbite in his hand. That's why there's a pause constantly. So it sucks that our Tybalt's gonna die. Oh, there it is, Frostbite. See? Yeah, because every time I played something, there was a pause. So I figured Frostbite. Alright, so they have Annex. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 9 total. So we can return Yorion, cast it, and play the champion and create 2 blockers. I have to create blockers here, at least 1, because otherwise he can do it. He could do it for 3 damage at least, and then just cast the champion. We have to create blockers. I mean, yes, Yorion's not doing anything. But if I don't have blockers out there, I'm at 7 life. I have to be careful. Embercleave is kind of yikesers because it gives him 2 loyalty, so it gets it up to 4, and then +1 and makes it 5. Well, at least we have what's it called, lockdown. We have the Embercleave lockdown now. All right, Soul Shatter. That's not bad. I'll take that. I still can't attack. I'm at 7. They could easily draw a haste creature with the castles in play and do a lot of damage. Speaking of, here's the haste creature we were talking about. we would have attacked, we would have taken, either we would have actually suicided our champion. So let's make him sack Annex. They get a 1-1, which I don't care because I have the champion to keep it locked down since champion has first strike. And we have Disdainful Stroke and Negate, so he just wants to hit something off the top. Okay, well that was, I mean, that's good for me that he milled my Negate off, but also kind of not great because now he can use the Nightmare, the champion. And I can't counter it because he has Negate, so he could counter my counter back. So it doesn't, there's no reason to use the counter spell here. Ooh, that's a good draw. Maze My Tome is a very good draw. So we're gonna lose Negate unless we draw something better. So we're gonna lose Heartless Act out of our hand. I'm just gonna use it then to kill the creature. Because the second effect of Nightmare is gonna take it, but now since that's not there, he's just gonna take Negate. I want to attack, but I can't because we're at 7. If he draws a haste creature, we're just probably with the castles, not looking good. We're both flooding though. We are both flooding. I mean, I play a lot more lands than he does, so he technically is flooding a lot more than me. Let's see, 8, 9, 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we both have 10 lands in play. We both are landlords here. Okay, Fire Charger. That's a good card. I have to Shadow's Verdict this because he can then use the castles to pump it, and then if it dies, then I take a lot more damage. So Shadow's Verdict exiles. There's another land. Shadow's Verdict exiles more lands. Yay! Yay! More lands. Gotta Shadow's Verdict this because it exiles. Otherwise, he just attacks, pumps it. I take 3. Okay, we can't attack. Let's see. Clang is a good draw. Mazemind Tomes are good draws. Omens are good draws. Balkies are good draws. Girarde is not so great. Let's see. What else could we go for? Another land. That's been like, I think, 5, 6 lands in a row. But hey, currently I'm winning, so we are currently fine at the moment. I feel like he's just holding back a creature in his hand and waiting for something to happen. Another land. Like, I think he's just holding back a creature in his hand until he can, like, maybe cast 2 creatures and then attack. So, I don't know. Master Pen, what you got? Man, he's flooding like crazy. We are both landlords here. Both landlords. Okay, but it's not great here, but I mean, if he plays a creature, we have a kill spell. And I'm just like sitting back on Yorion because I have to. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, opponent. All right. Uh, there we go. Now I can attack. Okay, I drew Shark Typhoon. Now I can attack. Now I can get aggressive. Because now I can use Shark Typhoon to hold back. Now that we're at 11, and I can use Shark Typhoon 8, 9, 10, 12. So I can make a 10-10. Faceless Haven. Yeah, see, he was holding back the champion. He attacks. He has to attack. He has haste, you know? But we're attacking for a reason. So clearly we have something. Yep, okay. That's game 1. Okay. So Elders are great against this. Shadow's Verdict, Soul Shatters, Disputes, definitely not great here. Let's see. Duress, no, because they're that isn't 7 mana is a little tough, but it might just be better than some negates. Because the red decks are all creatures, so negates aren't really doing much here. So maybe I just cut some negates. Hmm. Yeah, because this is a creature deck. I don't think I need that many negates. I mean, some negates are fine because of Embercleave, but I'm debating on if I want to cut the other negate. All right, we'll just try it. We'll cut that for Como. Because if we land a Como, we're probably winning the game at that point. Not necessarily, but probably. All right. I have two removal and a cycle and a counter spell. The only bad part about this hand is if land 3 can come untapped, because Fable Passage will grab us black. So I have to keep this. But if we could draw a third land untapped would be nice. Because I think I have to hold the Jwari as a counterspell in the early game. So we use Fable Passage for black and then play the island. So let's see. Ooh. My opponent has a very slow start. He hasn't played a single card. Okay, now we have a removal. I just hold up Jwari / eliminate. Yeah, my opponent kept a slow hand. If he hasn't played anything till turn 3, we'll counter this. We do not let that survive. Okay, so then play this. I think we play Maze Mind Tome. He doesn't have anything in play anyways, so I don't want to hold up and eliminate to maybe what if he doesn't even play anything, you know? I'd rather hold up Maze Mind Tome. I can nightmare that. Okay, well, now I can't nightmare it. Now it's a 3/3. I mean, I could soul shatter the annex or eliminate the annex, but okay. I I need this land so I can play eliminate / maze my tome. So I'm keeping it on top. Because the triome is going to come untapped. This way I'm able to use eliminate on annex and use maze my tome in the same turn. So I'm using 4 mana worth of cards here. Drawing. And I'm killing this prior to combat before they declare attack, or not prior to combat, prior to attack, so they can't ever cleave me. El Dragaruno! Dragon's here! Okay, so I drew Binding Guides. Oh, that's right. Human or artifact it can take. Uh-huh. I want my Maze my tome opponent. I want my tome back. No, he wants my tome back. Stop taking my tome. I want my tome back. So even, and odd. So extinction on even, and then we'll take only one. Sure. Stop taking my tome. Give it back. Give it back. I want it back. Gold span. All right. Well, that's some damage, but we have Soul Shatter, so 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could Valky, but I don't think so. I think I just play Soul Shatter and into Nightmare. And then clear the board. And then I'll play Nightmare to get rid of the champion. And then we can use Maze Mind Tome if we want to just scry, and then we could gain 4 life the following turn. So I think we're in pretty good shape right now. We are in great shape, especially since we get to look at their hand with Nightmare to see what they have. Oh, well, I guess they just tapped out. Never mind. So I'm just going to scry here. Binding of the Old Gods. I think I have to keep it just to get rid of this 2-drop. And then I can add Yorion to my hand. I have to keep it, right? So I'm binding the dragon berserker, and then I can binding this berserker, grab Yorion to our hand, and if we need to, possibility we can gain some life with the Maze My Tome. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. All right. Grab Yoris. So we're taking 3. We could blink the Binding Guns afterwards. I think I have to gain the 4 life here. I don't think I could blink. Oh, okay, well. He wants to take my tome again, but it's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to just use. I'm just gonna use it. Just use it now. Nightmare. 5, 6, 7. Nope, we don't need that. We don't have 8 mana. If we had 8 mana, that'd be one thing, but. Alright, exile the graveyard. What land? Triome. Play this. Blink the Binding, and it allows us to hold up Shark Typhoon for a blink of 1. So if we need to make a 1/1, we have the access to make it. He gets 2 tokens out of it. Yep. Oh, Castle was a bad draw for me. That was a good draw for opponent. All right, so now I have the Shark Typhoon cycle for 1. I have to block these tokens, otherwise I'm taking 6. So Yorion blocks Annex, and I block the token, and I take 4. Cling is a good draw. That gains me some life back. That does give me some life back. Alright, grab, and doesn't really matter, I guess, at this point. 6, 7. So we have perfect. We can do Tybalt here and hold up either negate/cling. Question is, do I want to exile one? Okay, Heartless Act. The only thing I was debating on there was, do I want to exile one of the tokens? But since I can gain life with Cling, I think it was just better to plus. So I could use more of my mana by playing Heartless Act on the token instead of using Cling. Because it's 1 mana versus 2 mana. And it's going to gain us the same kind of advantage. So we kill 1, block 1, take 2. We go to 4. We go to Cling, go to 7. Start exiling, winning with Tybalt. Let's see what we can hit. Okay, that was good. Let's just gain some life. Go up to 7. Play the play the robber. That'll be our chump blocker. We're not doing it for anything else. So 3, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8. So I could do 7, 8. So yeah. So since we have 8 mana, we're gonna do Cling to gain life, play Omen, and hold up negate. We have perfect mana for it. Alright, yep, we got this game. Nice. Alright, let's see. We are playing some Sultai Control. Alright, opponent is not showing. Our opponent's not showing a companion, so it's not a control deck. So since having Soul Shatter and Extinction with Dwardy, I'm gonna keep for that reason. So we have a turn 2, turn 3, and turn 4 play. So that's definitely a keepable hand. So depending on what he does, we either Rimrock. Okay. Is that another mono red deck? It could also be Gruul. He's missing green. Nope. Well, he's red because he's playing the champion. Looks like we're taking, what is this, 5? That's a lot of damage. 5 on turn 3. Another land. Alright, so worst case scenario, we're playing Soul Shatter on Rimrock. Hopefully he sets up something so we can call Extinction for... Oof. I have to counter this. I might have to take another 5. But then if I Soul Shatter here, I have the Disdainful Stroke. And Disdainful Stroke, I'm using Disdainful Stroke because it has less targets to counter against mono red. Dwardy can counter more cards technically than Disdainful Stroke. Alright, so I think I just play one of the Triomes and hold up Soul Shatter. Yeah, let's just do that. And then, because it gives us our ability to play the Triland without having to worry about it. And then we're only gonna take one here anyways, so he's in combat. So let's Soul Shatter the Rimrock. And we're only gonna take one, which is fine. That's good. He didn't play anything. It's pretty good. Alright. Do I want to cycle, hold up, negate Jwardy, or do I want to add Yorion to my hand, hold up, negate Jwardy? I think the Yorion is better because then we can cast it, and I think grabbing Yorion's better since we're at 9 life. That way we can cast it the following turn. Because this could be used as a blocker against the champion. If we were at 20 or something around 15, 20, then it's a different story. We're taking 4. But since we're at such a low life. Alright, so we just play Extinction, hold up Jwardy / a negate. Call odd here, and we get to hold up Jwardy / negate. Low life. So does my opponent have a bunch of like frost bites in his hand? Because otherwise he's not playing anything. So what, like maybe like Embercleaves and frost bites? Because I mean, otherwise they're gonna do something. You know what I mean? We could hold back. We have time. Jwardy Disruption. I want to see what I draw first. Another Cycle Land. Okay, cycle this as well, since we have enough mana to still play Jwardy. Ooh, Valky's nice. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we can play Valky and hold up Heartless Axe / or not Valky, but Tibalt and hold up Heartless Axe / negate. Perfect. Let's see what's on top of each deck. Ooh, there's another Valky. Or another, I should say, another Tibalt. Another Tibalt. See, he has, see, he has Frost Sprites in his hand. Yep, just as I thought, he has, yep. Even if he kills it, it's fine. We have the other one right there. Let's play his land. I'm gonna play, yep, alright. Okie dokie, Dr. Jones. Alright, so once again, Extinction, Shadows, Elders, Coma, remove the strokes, cut some negates. And yeah, we're gonna do exactly the same thing as the other red deck that we played against. Just add more removal, take out some of the high, like Disdainful Stroke doesn't do very much against, so we'll just do this exact same thing. Squirrels. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. I made you out of clay. Made you out of clay. Double Extinction makes me wants to keep this hand against the red deck. I'm on the draw. I think I keep. It's risky, but I think I'm gonna keep because of the double extinction event. Like, it's one of those hands. It's one of those hands. Oh, nice, a tri-land. Okay, tri-land is pretty good. So we're 1 mana closer to the Elder. Oh wow, he kept the 1 lander against us. That's good for us. I wonder how gas his hand is that he kept the 1 lander. Do I want to take 3 or do I want to counter this and take 1? The problem would be if I don't draw a 4th land. I mean, obviously, Jwardy in it throws it. The reason why I ended up Jwardying it is because I have Shark Typhoon as a cycle, so I can technically draw. So cycle for 1, draw a card. If it's a land, would be great. I could have also just Heartless acted, but I'm looking for a land at the moment. Bone Crusher, sure. There's our land, so we take one, okay. True Negate. So now we have Negate and Heartless Act at the ready. If we draw green mana, we get Elder, and then I think it's just probably game over. Since he doesn't have 3 snows in play, he can't double Frostbite the Elder. I think we'll be good. If he's only hitting me for 1, I'll take it. I could hold Heartless Act. Rimrock, sure. Heartless Act or Crawling Barrens. I think Heartless Act, just to keep his board empty. Omen, let's play that because we're looking for lands. Okay. Gives me my green mana. Binding. I already have extinctions. I don't need the binding. The reason why I bottom binding is because I already have 2 extinctions. So we're just gonna bottom it. NX. Alright, now we have to cast Elder. Oh wait, they're both odd. I remember my saying we're casting extinction. Extinction. Put it on black. We only need 2 green. Rim or Bone Crusher. Okay, Binding of the Old Gods is not bad actually, because we don't take damage off this, and we can still hold up Negate. I also would love to have another untapped land so I could cast Elder and protect it, but it's gonna be whatever. Goldspan. All right. So I think I have to. Do I have to extinction here? I think I have. The problem here would be Embercleave. That's why I have to extinction. Because if I cast Elder, he could just attack and it's not worth it. He can Embercleave. If I would have drew an untapped land, we would have been in great shape, but alright, we're taking 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he couldn't Embercleave because it's only technically 4 mana. Alright, now we drew a land. I mean, we got the land off Binding Gods, I guess, anyways. But now we drew a land. Now we can hold up negate mana. We're at 5, but Elder could win us the game. We could regain all the life back. Bone Crusher. 3 is not dead. 3 is not dead. Gotta use your life as a resource. Nope, that's very odd to bring in a Cron War against a control deck. Very, very odd. He almost got me, but that's very odd. That is very, very odd. I mean, my opponent almost next leveled me there. But still, wow, okay. Let's gain life. I'm at 3. There's no... I can't take that risk. Drop the other Elder, and I think I grabbed the Yorion to hand here. Alright, we got double Elder, so we can gain 6 life. We'll go back up to 12. So he's animating this, so you can have Embercleave, so one of them will die. That's fine. One of our Elders die. We trade with one, we kill another, and we could gain 6 life. We could also gain 3, draw a card. So one of them is definitely going to be gain life. The other one is the question I'm debating on. Do I want to create the 3/3 or draw a card? For sure, one of them's gain life, regardless. One's gain life, 100%. Draw a card. Draw a card. Oh, guess he couldn't beat it then. All right, there we go. Got another one. Okay, we are on the verge of making diamond here. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we're playing against. We're playing Sultai Control. Let's see what we are playing against. No way. No way. what was it? A one lander to a one lander to. Ugh, I gotta keep this. It's 2 lands, I guess. Hmm. I think it's Valky. The Shark Typhoon I'm keeping 100% because it cycles for 0 to draw a card. It was all depending on the Valky or the Heartless Act. So blue black. So let's see. I mean, they're not revealing a companion. So what is this? It's the Rogues, San Rogues, I guess it's called, whatever. Because the lowest companion means they're playing higher cost cards, so big rogues. Wait, what? So they're playing Grixis rogues? Grixis rogues? So they can play Robber? Sorentative, yep. El Grixis rogues. Alright, let's mill some cards. Ooh, we needed both of those lands. We needed both. I got a cycle. I gotta look for something. I have currently. Okay, drew a land. Drew Valky. I think I have to hold up Soul Shatter here. Soaring Thought Thief. Oy vey. Oy vey. Yep. Soaring Thought Thief. Dead. Guild Enforcer. Yep. Mill some cards. That was good. I didn't want to draw Disdainful Stroke. Thanks for that mill. Did not want to see Disdainful Stroke. Rune Crab. They probably have a Fable Passage, I assume. Yep. Usually when Rube Crab hits the board, there's always a Fable Passage behind it. Usually. Dreidel. I made you out of clay. Dreidel. Ooh, nice. Cling. I'll take that. I mean, we only play one Cling and one Pelucanos in the main deck, so that was a good. Finally hit us escape card. Let's see what he has. And I can hold up negate slash stroke. Oh my gosh. Double into the story. Okay. Well, we have stroke and negate against it, but that just means we have to hold it back. And our Valky is stopping the Guild Enforcer from attacking. The stroke does. So he can't attack unless he. I mean, he could attack. I'll take the trade though. Yep. Yep. Heartless Act. So we could Heartless Act the Rune Crab and negate the into the story. Okay. Since my Valky can trade with the Guild Enforcer, I'd rather kill the Rune Crab than the Enforcer. Because the Rune Crab could start. And I can't play Clang because then he could play into the story. We have too many cards in our graveyard. So kill Crab. He's gonna probably go for into the story here, and then we play negate. Yep. Now we can start using Cling to Dust. Since we stopped that anyways. Eliminate the 4 Enforcer or Cling. I think I have to Cling here. Just to bring my graveyard down. So exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I gotta bring my graveyard down. So that brings it down by 6 cards. Okay, it's a land. Okay. You have 4 cards in hand though, opponent. Ooh. He drew a third into the story. Man, opponent, that's disgusting, man. Okay. All right. That was disgusting, but there's nothing I can do about that. Now he has a bunch of like, counter spells. All right. I think I have to start removing my permanents here because of Zartsan. Because Zartsan can take my permanent, so. Oh, wait. Auto Tapper messed me up. It tapped up all my black mana. I guess it didn't matter here, but I should always use the Rune Crab. Let's see, what land you got? Heartless Act, so now you can start attacking, I guess. Sure. Extinction on all. That's not resolving. He has 2 mana open. So we could cling here. Once again, bring our graveyard down. So target Fable Passage and then exile everything else. 3, 4, 5. And once again, I messed up again. See? Messed up again. The auto tapper. Now I can't eliminate. I just talked about it last turn and I did it again. Yep. Mill. We could have killed the crab here in response, so he wouldn't have milled an extra 3 cards. Therefore, Guild Enforcer wouldn't have been big enough. Ooh, Pelucranos. Well, I guess it kind of worked out. Well, no Zarzan. All right. We have 8 cards. It requires 6, right? Exile 6 other cards from your graveyard. Okay. Now we can exile 6. There's 8, not counting the Cling and the Pelucano, so that's, that's 6. I don't think I want to cycle this. I'd rather just hold it off, maybe? I don't think I need it, so... Dreidel. So if I do Pelucanos, make a 12/12, he can't counter this. I mean, he could if he has Essence Scatter, I guess I should say. What am I saying? He can't counter this. He can't drown it. He can't Heartless Act it. So he has to have Essence Scatter. Okay, he has Essence Scatter. But we only have 2 cards in a graveyard, so that's good. Valky, that hits nothing. And wow, he concedes. Wow, he just straight up conceded. Oh my gosh, and he conceded the match. He conceded the match. All right, we made it up to diamond now with this deck easily. All right, hey YouTube. So as you just saw, we easily just ran through platinum, got into diamond. We are currently actually, let me see, 9-0 with the deck. So we are technically undefeated on the ladder right now. I mean, I lost a match or 2 here, play testing it off the ladder, but that was just me trying to get a hang of the deck to understand how it works. But on the ladder, we are undefeated with the deck. I altered, the makeup of the main deck here and there after a match here, a match there. Like this is not how it looked like match 1 on the ladder. But this is what it looks like now after 9 matches, after the 3 you just saw those victories on the video, and this is what the final version. Obviously, the more I play, I'll probably alter it more and more, but currently this is the final version that I've been playing. And like I said, we're undefeated with the deck. We just ran through platinum with this deck. Very strong deck. Yeah, so if you want an easy win up through platinum, I'm gonna give this try more in diamond here, see how well we can do with it in diamond. But as far as platinum, I'm pretty sure this will get us to mythic no problem. But this is a very strong deck. So, but if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Once again, like I said, I enjoy the feedback. Drop some comments down. Check the description of the video. That's where the deck list is going to be, the link to the deck list. But if you don't mind, please hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get to the sideboard guide. So I'm gonna give you a sideboard guide to like 5 decks, 4, 5 decks, something around there. What's kind of being played currently as the meta. Obviously, each week it changes. The first week it was a bunch of the showdown of the skull decks, then it came into an ultimatum decks. Now it's more aggro decks. So it's flip-flopping all around. So I'll give you a general sideboard against most of those decks, and then you would kind of have to figure out what you want to do if there's like a fringe deck that pops up, you know. If you want to know about a specific deck, drop a comment in the comment section, and I could try to, you know, do something with that. But the first deck we're going to get rid of sideboard guide. I'm going to give you a sideboard guide of how I sideboard against those decks. Would be against Reg Aggro. And if I'm playing against Reg Aggro, this is how I sideboard. So I bring in one Soul Shatter, one Extinction, one Verdict, and 3 Elders and a Como. And so obviously the Soul Shatter, the Extinction, the Shadow Verdict is an aggro deck. We want to bring in more removal here against them. So, you know, a 3 mana, 4 mana, and 5 mana that exiles all creatures is great against them. The Elder is a 5-drop that keeps creating us creatures or creating us life. It's going to be hard for aggro decks to deal with an Elder Gargaroth. They either have to, I mean, I don't know if they're going to have a Crown War, but I don't think so because their curve will be kind of high if they have a Crown War. But if you drop Elder Gargaroth, he has Vigilance, he has Trample, like you get to start creating a bunch of dudes as blockers. It's going to be hard for them to deal with. And then same with Como, he's a 6/6 dude. I mean, he costs 7 mana. That is expensive against aggro decks, but we do run a lot of removal, eliminates Heartless Axe, Nightmares, Extinctions, Shadows, Verdicts, Bindings, Pelucanos. We're bringing in another 3 more, 2 of them being board wipes and 1 being another kill spell. So we're bringing in a lot of removal. So hope you should survive till turn 7. But what Como does is he obviously he's a 6/6, but he also creates a body on both players' turns. And so we want to do that. We want to keep creating bodies so they can't rush us. And now the red decks aren't burn decks. They're attacking you. So if you could keep creating bodies, that's what you want to do. And then what we take out is we take out 3 strokes. It's red deck. Their top curve is what Embercleave and Torbrand. So this stroke can only hit those 2 cards, so you don't want those. And we cut 3 negates because of the same thing. They're a creature deck. They're not a burn deck. You don't want to be drawing negate when they have 3 creatures on the board. So negate's not what we want to do. And I cut 1 Shark Typhoon just because on turn 3, you could create a 1/1. On turn 3, they're probably going to already have, you know, a 4/3 Bone Crusher in the play, or, you know, Rimrock, or what is it? The Fervent Champion. So it doesn't really do much that way. So we cut 1 of those. So yeah, we bring in more removal. We bring in guys that are hard to deal with against them, and we cut out our useless cards against them. So that's what I do against red. Now, the other deck that you'll definitely see is Rogues. It hasn't disappeared since it's gone popular since the last set. You know, it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So you should be prepared against Rogues. And this is how, I mean, this deck is pretty good against Rogues already. One, because it's main decking Cling and Pelucanos, so it's main decking escape cards. It's also main decking a lot of spot removal cards here. Shark Typhoons are amazing against Rogues, and then on top of that, it's running counter spells. So it should be good against Rogues right off the bat, but we have a little bit of help in the sideboard for more of the Rogues. Obviously, there's not too much in the sideboard against them, just because, like I said, we have a lot already against them. We don't want to, you know, saturate our deck against a deck that we should be good against. So what we bring in against Rogues, we bring in 1 Glimpse, 2 Disputes, 1 Coma, and 2 Duress. So Duress is obviously to pick off their Drawn on the Locks, their counter spells, their Into the Stories, look at their hand, see if a card can resolve on our end. If it can't, try to play around the counter spell, stuff like that. The Glimpse obviously has Escape. You want to bring in more Escape cards, keep your graveyard low, so that way they're Into the Story costs a lot, you know, cost 7 mana. They can't Drawn on the Lock our key cards. Their Rogues are just 1 power creatures. Dispute is a 1 mana counterspell against Into the Story, Drawn on the Lock, what is it, Soaring Thought Thief, you know, all those key cards. It's a 1 mana counterspell. The Coma, they cannot, so Rogues cannot deal with this. If this resolves, they can't deal with it. 1, it can't be countered, so they can't Drawn on the Lock it. And then 2, if they try to kill it, you just sacrifice the Serpent to give it indestructibility. So if this resolves on an open field or something like that, you can easily just win. And they're probably not going to, after sideboard, bring in like Soul Shatter or Extinctions or anything. So this is great against those control decks. What we take out against rogues is we take out stroke. The only thing stroke can hit against rogues is into the story, and it's not worth it because we already have negates, disputes, and stuff like that. The rest is to try to take it out of their hand, and we have a bunch of escape cards to make it so that it's a 7-mana card for them. So we take out 3 strokes. We take out 2 bindings because binding is very expensive. It's a 4 mana to possibly kill a 1-drop or a 2-drop. It's not worth it. We cut that. And I cut 1 negate just because I'm bringing in 2 disputes. So I'm cutting a 2 mana counterspell for a 1 mana counterspell. So that's what I do against rogues. The next deck that you will probably also see is the control ultimatum decks, whatever you want to call them. And obviously this was popular last week, this deck, and this is why this deck is crafted. It's good against that ultimatum deck in a sense, just because look, we're running 4, 8, 11 counter spells on the main deck against ultimatum. We have 2 nightmares to kind of pick it off their hand. Obviously these eliminates, heartless acts, verdicts, and extinctions aren't great, but they're going to also have dead cards against us. So it's not like their deck is not going to be, they're going to also have these heartless acts, eliminates, extinctions, and stuff like that as well. So against them, what you want to bring in is you want to bring in 2 duresses, 2 mystical disputes, 3 elders, 1 como, and glimpse. Duress, obviously you want to pick off their ultimatum. You want to see take out their counter spells. Dispute, you can use this. It's a 1 mana counter spell against ultimatum. It's just a counter spell you want to do. Elder Gargaroth, after sideboard, most likely they're taking out the removal, and so you can just cast this and run away with a game with it. They probably will keep in, I mean, maybe Soul Shatter, maybe Extinction, but they have to then end up drawing that in an 80 card deck. We bring in Como obviously because they can't counter this. This could just win us the game, so we bring that in because they just can't counter it. And then we bring in Glimpse just so we can draw more into our counter spells or whatnot. We have a lot of dead cards, so we definitely bring in that in. What we cut here is we cut 4 Heartless Acts, 3 Eliminates, and 2 Shadows Verdict. They do not win. They don't have many creatures. I think the only creatures they run is what? Vornclax and Valky. So beyond that, you just want to just take away your removal. We keep an Extinction because they're going to bring in Coma. You want to be able to still exile Coma. You have Soul Shatters, but so that's why we're bringing that in. You can also cut one of the Extinctions if you want, so that way you'll have instant speed Soul Shatter, which is actually a fine play to do. But like I said, I keep it in just in case if they have multiple like Vornclax and Quoma or something, or you know what I mean, like Valky. So I'll keep an Extinction in case I need to board wipe. So that's against the ultimatum decks. The next deck you'll probably see is obviously Reg Aggro is starting to re-pick up popularity again. It was obviously a strong deck last format. It's still a strong deck this format. I know people were messing with it with Naya a little early in the format because of Showdown on Scald, but now they're doing it with they're keeping it as Gruul, and they're just throwing in the Goldspan Dragon into the deck, which obviously Goldspan Dragon is a strong card. So against Gruul, what I like to bring in is I like to bring in 1 Soul Shatter, 1 Extinction Event, 1 Shadows Verdict, 2 Elders, and a Coma. And so the Soul Shatter, obviously, Soul Shatter, Extinction, Shadows Verdict, obviously it deals with their creatures. You want to deal with their creatures as soon as possible, as fast as possible, so they can't play Henge, they can't play Embercleave. So those are obviously against the creatures. The Elder and the Coma is because, so the creatures are going to top off power-wise as a 5/5 via the Lovestruck. Goldspan is going to be a 4/4, and Elder can block the Goldspan, it could block the Lovestruck, and it doesn't die. Unless they have an Embercleave or something like that, or a Bone Crusher to throw behind the attack, they won't be able to get rid of Elder. And Elder is it's a 6/6 that has Vigilance with this effect. So that's why we bring that. And then Como, they just can't get rid of it. There's nothing in their deck that I believe they run that could get rid of Como. You cast Como as a 6/6. You could tap their creatures down. So whatever they put Embercleave on, just tap it down. They can't attack you with that. So that's what we do with that. And what I take out is, I take out 2 strokes. I leave 1 in, but I take 2 out just because their creatures are pretty much low end, 3 drops and less. But the reason why I keep 1 in, because it could still counter 2 mana counter against Embercleave, Henge, and Goldspan. So I keep 1 in for those reasons. And the reason why I keep 1 in So it's like, for example, negate. I'm also taking 2 negates out. Negate can only stop, obviously the first half of the adventure creatures, but it could also stop Embercleave and Henge. This cannot stop Goldspan Dragon. This is why I keep 1 stroke in to stop Goldspan, and this is why I keep negate in to stop the adventure side and stop the Henge Embercleave. So that's why I keep 1 of those in and 2 negates in. And I cut 2 sharks because, like I said, Girl is a aggro deck. Cycling this on turn 3 as a 1/1, it's not really going to do anything for you. Their creatures are 5/5s, 4/3s, 1/1 with landfall triggers. You can't even block it. So I cut 2 Shark Typhoons. That's against Gruul. And the final deck that I'm going to give a sideboard guide that you should see, it might be dying in popularity, but it'll still be around. It's a solid deck. It's not, I don't consider it as a tier 1 deck, but it's a solid deck. That's the Izzet Snow deck. So against Izzet Snow, I like to bring in 2 Duress, 2 Run Alvz, 2 Disputes, and 1 Coma. So the Duress, they're a control deck. You want to pick off either their draw spells or their counter spells, or just look at their hand to see if they have anything so you can resolve things. The Run, they run what? 4 Brazens, 4 Goldspans, 4 Shark Typhoons. So they're all flyers. And this is a 1 mana instant speed, make them sack a flyer. So that's what that's for. 2 Disputes, they're blue, red. This counters, I think, like 90% or more of their deck, maybe 95% of their deck for 1 mana. I believe the only red cards they run is, Frostbite and Goldspan. I don't know, after sideboard, I don't think they're bringing any red cards against us. Maybe Ox, if they have Ox in the sideboard, but obviously Mystical Dispute is a 1 mana counter spell against their deck. Coma, you resolve Coma against them. The only way they can get rid of Coma against you is by bouncing it with Brazen Borrow's effect. Once you resolve this, since it's uncounterable, they can't get rid of it other than bouncing it with Brazen Borrower. But then you can just recast it the next turn anyways. So what I take out against them is I take out 1 Cling. Doesn't do anything in this matchup. Obviously, you can keep it in as a draw mech, but I don't want it as a draw mechanic. I already have enough with Omens, Shark Typhoons. So I'm just like, I just take it out for that reason. I take out 3 Eliminates because I have Heartless Act to deal with, the Goldspan, all the cards. So I leave the Heartless in because it could also deal with the land. I cut 2 Shadow's Verdict because I keep an Extinction because Extinction can deal with Goldspan, Shadow's Verdict can't. So I take out Shadow's Verdict, and I cut 1 Pelucanos because it's a 4-drop that just doesn't do anything. I mean, it could fight the creatures, but you're throwing a lot of mana into doing that. So that's my sideboard against those type of decks. Like I said, the deck is currently undefeated. We just crushed through Platinum into Diamond. We're like 9-0 with the deck. Pretty sure this deck can easily take me to Mythic. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy this deck. Hopefully you enjoyed my sideboard guide. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. And always check the description of the video. It has you can follow me on Twitch there. You has the description or deck list it has a deck list in the description. But yeah, please do that. Follow me, subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you guys on the next video.